All right, this is lesson 1-7 from the 7th grade math book, adding and subtracting integers. Okay, remember we talked about last time, integers can be any whole number, whether it's positive or negative. Okay, so, we're kind of at the point now where, that we're not always going to be working with positive numbers. We'll probably have just as many negatives as we will positives, so we have to get really used to working with those. So we've got adding and subtracting integers. Okay, well, let's just go over adding them, okay, because that's by far the easier than subtracting. All right, so -5 plus 3. Okay, well, let's see here. So in terms of adding them, okay, so what we do is we look at the two numbers, okay? We've got a -5, okay? This is a negative number, okay? We've got a positive 3. This is a positive number, okay? We have two different signs here, don't we? We've got one negative, one positive, okay? What we're going to go ahead and do is find the absolute value of both of them, okay? The absolute value of -5 is 5, okay? The absolute value of 3 is 3, right? And then just find the difference of the absolute values, okay? 5 take away 3 is 2, okay? So we went ahead, I know we're adding, why are we subtracting, but this is how you do it. When we have two different signs, we essentially have to just subtract those two to come up with what the actual sum would be of them, okay? So we did the absolute values of both. 5 take away 3 is 2. Now we've got to think about, is it a positive 2 or a negative 2? Okay? So 5 and 3, the absolute values were 5 and 3, or -5 and 3. The absolute values were 5, 3. Which one of them had the larger absolute value? Which one of those numbers is basically further away from 0? Okay? Which is further, -5 away from 0 or 3? Okay? -5 is further away, right? It has the larger absolute value, okay? So in order to determine if this is a positive 2 or a negative 2, we look at the two numbers. Again, which one had the larger absolute value? The -5, okay? So then our answer should take the sign of whatever number had the larger absolute value, okay? So if -5 was the larger absolute value, is a negative, therefore my answer must also be a negative, okay? And again, I always think about money when I'm working with positive and negative numbers. Okay, I owe somebody $5. Oh, here, I got $3 more. Somebody gave me $3, so I went ahead and paid that back. How much do I still owe that person? I only owe them $2 now. Okay, so if that helps you, for me, that just kind of makes sense. Okay, let's do 6 plus -3. Okay, so again, two different signs. Positive 6, -3. When we have two different signs, we subtract the absolute values of the both numbers, okay? Absolute value of 6, 6. Absolute value of -3 is 3. Remember, they're always positive. So what's the difference between the two absolute values? 3. Okay, now we need to go and see, is it going to be a positive 3 or a -3, okay? Of these two, which one had the larger absolute value, 6 or -3? Which of these numbers is further away from 0? Okay, it's the 6, right? Okay, what sign is the 6? Well, the 6 is a positive, so therefore my answer should be positive. All right. One more with mixed root. Okay, -8 plus 10. Okay, again, two different signs, negative, positive. So we subtract the two absolute values. 8, 10, okay? 10 minus 8 is 2, okay? We just find the difference between them. 2, okay, so I know my answer is 2, but what kind of 2? Is it a positive 2 or a negative 2? Okay, which one of these numbers was further away from 0? The 10, right? Okay, so is the 10 a positive or a negative? It's a positive, so therefore my answer is positive, okay? Think about it in terms of money. I owe somebody $8. Okay, well, then I get my $10 allowance. Okay, so I pay him back that $8. What do I have left? I have $2. All right. Now, these are examples if we have two different signs. Now, if they're the same signs, this is pretty straightforward. What's 8 plus 2? Well, they're both positive, okay? You probably could do this in first grade. 8 plus 2, 10, okay? Should be no issues here, okay? -4 plus -8, okay? All right, so in this case, if they're both negatives, just like what we did up here, they are both the same signs. I just added the two numbers, and my answer was also positive. They're both positive, added them together, my answer is positive, okay? If I've got two negatives, it's the same thing. They're both the same sign, just add the two numbers. 4 plus 8 is 12. They are both negative, so therefore my answer is negative, okay? So if they're the same signs, add them together like normal, and then it just takes whatever sign the numbers are, okay? If they were two different signs, then you've got to kind of find that difference, then figure out if your answer is positive or negative. Okay? Now, I hope you're really good at adding positive and negative integers now, because we're going to subtract them. And subtracting can get a little confusing because we're like subtracting negative numbers. What does that actually mean? Okay, so the way I'm going to show you how to subtract them is actually by essentially turning the problem into an addition problem, which we just talked about how to do that. And if you're good at this, then subtracting should be pretty easy. All right, say we've got negative 6 minus 4. Okay, so this is subtraction. I've got negative 6 minus 4. Okay, the strategy that I show my students how to do is called keep, change, change. Okay, and what keep, change, change essentially does is converts this problem into an addition problem. Okay, because adding integers is way easier than subtracting. All right, so let's go. What does keep, change, change mean? Okay, so K, keep, C, change, change, okay? KCC, keep, change, change, okay? What that means is we've got three different things here. We've got a number, whether it's positive or negative. We've got a process here, okay? And then we've got another number, whether it's positive or negative, okay? So here we go with the keep, okay? The keep goes with the first number, okay? Negative 6, we're going to keep it a negative 6. We're going to leave it alone, keep, okay? Then we go to the next one, change. That goes with the process, okay? The process is subtraction. We're going to change it to the opposite, okay? We're going to change it to a plus, okay? Then that takes us to our next change, okay? Change, we have a 4, okay? It was a positive 4. Now we're going to go ahead and change it to its opposite. The opposite of positive 4 is negative 4, okay? So I've now, using keep, change, change, I've rewritten this problem, and now it's just an addition problem. Negative 6 plus negative 4. Remember, if they're both the same signs, you just add the two numbers up, 10, and the answer takes the sign that both of those numbers are. If they're both negatives, you add them up, your answer is going to be negative. All right, so I converted that problem using keep, change, change into an addition problem, which was a lot easier to solve, and then I got negative 10. Let's try that again with a couple more examples. Okay, and then, like when we're subtracting a negative, that's where it gets really kind of confusing. All right, let's go ahead and apply keep, change, change to solve this. Okay, keep. I've got a positive 8. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, change. Okay, I'm subtracting, so I'm going to change my subtraction sign to the opposite, addition. Okay, now I'm going to now look at the last number. It's a negative 6. I'm going to go ahead and change that. I'm going to turn it into its opposite. The opposite of negative 6 is positive 6. Okay? So now my problem is essentially 8 plus a positive 6. Well, that's 8 plus 6, essentially. So my answer is 14. All right. All right, so I'm just going to work a couple of these out. I'm not going to talk as much, just so you see how this process, works instead of me yapping the whole time. All right. Oh.